Hello students, this is Alka Behel. We will be discussing break-even analysis today. What is break-even analysis? It is an important application for firms to decide as to what level of output they have to produce so that they can avoid losses and make profits, which is their prime motive. So, break-even analysis, how do we define break-even? Break-even is a point where TR is equal to TC, a situation of normal profits, a situation when there is no profit, no loss. That is called break-even point. Now, we have to calculate TR first and see the TC and look for the levels of production where TR is equal to TC. Only that is a point of break-even. It is also called cost volume analysis and contribution margin analysis. And break-even analysis, if we discuss at large, it can be explained by linear cost and revenue output relationship and by assuming nonlinear cost and revenue functions, that is linear functions and nonlinear functions. How do we define break-even? KKCO defines it like this. Break-even analysis is a device for integrating cost, revenues, and output of the firms in order to illustrate the probable effect of alternative courses of action upon net profits. These are three variables: cost, revenue, and output. They are interrelated, and we have to see their impact on the net profits. So, once the cost and revenue are equalized at some point of output, where they are equal, that is a point of break-even, that is zero profits. And then onwards, if you increase your production, you will go in for more and more profits. So this was definition. Now this analysis is based on certain assumptions. These assumptions, they draw the periphery of the analysis. फर्स्ट assumption है TC को हमने दो हिस्सों में डिवाइड किया है, एक है फिक्स्ड और दूसरा है वेरिएबल कॉस्ट. दैट इज TC is a addition of total fixed cost and total variable cost, but it ignores semi-variable costs. Second, cost and revenue functions remain linear, that is they are linearly related. That is, the TR is a function of, maybe we can write it like this, A plus B Q. Or similarly, cost function can also be given that shape of linearity. Then the price of the product is assumed to be constant. Product output की duration में, production की duration में, price of output में कोई change नहीं आता, उसे constant माना गया है. Our volume of sales and volume of production are equal. Whatever is produced is sold as well. There is no overproduction. Then the fixed cost remains constant over the volume under consideration. Whatever the cost we start with as fixed cost remains constant over a period of time when the output is done. It assumes the constant rate of increase in the variable cost. वेरिएबल कॉस्ट में भी इंक्रीज जो है कांस्टेंट रेट से है. दैट मीन्स व्हाट? कांस्टेंट रिटर्न्स टू स्केल. दैट मीन्स every increase in output is associated with the constant rate of increase in the variable cost. There is no change in the rate of increase in the variable cost during the production. Then it assumes technology and no improvement in labor efficiency, constant technology, and no improvement in labor efficiency, because these are also taken as constant, no change on their part as well. And then the factor price remains unchanged. Factor prices like wages, like interest, rent, they don't change. And change in input prices are also ruled out. Now here the input prices are non-factor inputs like raw material. Their prices are also not changing. In case of the multi-product firm, product mix is stable. If the firm is producing multi-products, then whatever product mix they take up first, that also doesn't change. If there are 3 items or 3 products that the firm produces, A, B, and C, and in the ratio of 33, 33, and 33, the same ratio is maintained during the production function. Now, these are the assumptions mainly that give you the limitation, what are the limits of this analysis. Now let's see how to determine break-even point. We have 3 methods to determine break-even point. One is graphic method, then we have equation method, and then contribution margin method. Coming to graphic method. Graphic method can be done both on the linear equations, on the linear ways, and on non-linear ways. But we are discussing here only the linear method. We are discussing only the linear method. What is linear break-even analysis? Obviously, our assumption remains that the price of the product remains constant. अगर price of the product constant है, तो जैसे जैसे आपकी firm product और आपको बढ़ाएगी and consequently अपनी sales को बढ़ाएगी, total revenue increase होगा और linearly increase होगा. That is, at some constant rate it will increase. So that is the clear-cut case, linear scenario. Let's see the description. In this graphical method, the TR curve, we have to take help of TR curve, TC curve, and see where TR and TC are equal to each other. And again, to elaborate further, we need to have TFC, that is total fixed cost curve, and see how far total fixed cost is from TC. The vertical difference between the two is taken as TVC afterwards. So here we are concerned mainly about TC and TR. What is TR? TR is total revenue curve. Total revenue of firm at each output, assuming the prices of the product is constant. Since the price of the product is taken constant, that means there is no change in the price. So TR goes straightway up. TC is also straight line from F point on OY axis. It also shows linear relationship between cost and output, and middle range of AC is taken to avoid the rise or fall for linearity. So that means the average cost, the middle range of average cost is taken. Then coming to TFC. TFC is what? TFC is equal to the vertical distance between TC and TFC shows total variable cost. So for achieving total variable cost, we need to see TFC. I would like to mention here that if your production is 0, your TFC is constant, whatever we start with, say 10, and throughout the increase in the output, your TFC will remain constant. That means there is no change. So it will be shown by a horizontal line which is parallel to OX axis, TFC, and the difference between TC and TFC will show you the total variable cost. TC starts from point F, which is above O, point O, showing that ABC is constant. that is average variable cost, is constant. Then slope of TR, this indicates the price at which additional units are sold is greater than the slope of TC, means that the price at which firm sales exceeds the additional cost incurred per unit of output. Obviously, the slope of TR is greater than the slope of TC, because the slope of TR shows the price at which the additional units are sold, and the slope of TC shows the price at which the firm sales exceeds the additional cost. So incurred per unit of time. So it shows the cost. So the slope of TR is more than the slope of TC. Then the total profit and loss depend upon TR and TC. If TR is greater than TC, we are having a situation of profits. If TC is greater than TR, then we are having a situation of losses. So up to QB in our graph, you will see it further. QB is an output where break even happens. So TC is greater than TR up to this point. So it shows losses, but beyond point E or output QB, it starts making profits. Now coming to the table, we have 5 columns in this table. पहली टेबल में हमारा है output in units, which varies from 0 to 6. Second column है TFC, total fixed cost, which is fixed throughout the output, no matter what the level of output is. 0 है तो 10, 6 है तब भी 10. It doesn't change with the change in the output. Then we have TVC. TVC is changing with the change in output. As you produce more, you will have more cost, variable costs. If output is 0, then the TVC is 4. If output is, say, 1, it is 4. And then if output is, say, if output is 6, we come at 6 or 24 as far as TVC is concerned. How about TC? TC is an addition of TFC and TVC. So on 0 output, TFC is 10, TVC is 0, TVC is 0 into 4. 4 is the basically 0 into 4. This will give you 0. And if you increase the output, 1 into 4, this will give you 4. As you increase the output, your total variable cost will increase. Here we assume that AVC is also constant. Though the AVC is 4, 4, 4, 4, still 4, that is AVC into Q will give you TVC, and TVC is 0 into 4, 1 into 4, 2 into 4, and 6 into 4. As you will see, as you increase the output or the production, your TVC will increase. It is variable. And TC also reflects TVC, that is 10, 14, 18, 22. It is the addition of TFC and TVC. And on 6th output or unit, it is 34. TR is total revenue. And total revenue also, since the price of the output is constant, it is 6666. Your AR is 666, that is price is 666. Obviously, with the increase in the output, you will get more and more of TR. First, it was 0 on 0 output. And as you go on increasing the sales, you will get 6, 12 up to 36. So we have TC as well as TR. Assuming that AR is constant or the price is constant, assuming that AVC is constant, we reach at TC and TR. Not all the points are having equality between TR and TC. Only the point where TC is equal to TR is 30, 30, is the point where the output is 5. If you produce 5 units of output, you will get TC 30, TR 30. This is the point of break-even. Before that, your TC is more than TR. See, 10, 0, 14, 6, 18, 20, 22, 18. Till 30, 30, we are incurring losses because TC is greater than TR. But after we cross break-even point, we start making profits because TC is 34 and TR is 36. So now we start making profits. And this is of utmost importance to the firm. This is break-even chart, and the firms need this chart to know exactly what can be the break-even output. Now coming to the graph. On OX-axis, we are taking quantity and output and quantity of output and sales. And OY-axis, we are taking revenue and cost. TR is starting from point O. It's a straight line going up. TC is starting from F point because it is a combination of fixed cost and variable cost. And OF gives you the fixed cost and at the output 0. So your TC starts from F and it is going upward as well. So there's a difference in the slope as already mentioned in your assumptions. At point E, corresponding to this, the quantity of output and sales is OQB, break-even point happens. Before that, we are suffering losses because TC is more than TR, and after that, we are earning profits because TR is greater than TC. One more point. If you want to achieve or reach at the variable cost, you will directly see the vertical distance between your fixed cost and TC. The difference between your TC and fixed cost will give you variable cost. And here to mention again, point E is the point of break-even. Break-even point is a point which is of utmost importance. Next is break-even equation method. We can explain break-even with the help of equations as well. We need TR. Let's see what is the equation for TR. TR is equal to price into quantity. अगर किसी गुड सोल्ड की क्वांटिटी को ले लें, मल्टीप्लाई कर दें उसके प्राइस के साथ, तो हमारे पास क्या आ जाएगा? TR आ जाएगा. So TR can be written as equal to P into Q. First equation. Let's break up TC. TC, as I have already told you, it's an addition of it's a sum total of TFC plus TVC. TFC is total fixed cost and plus TVC is total variable cost. I've already explained this in my past slide. This gives you equation 2. TVC is what? TVC is if you multiply the production, the quantity of production with AVC. AVC is average variable cost. QA is for quantity of production. It will give you TVC, that is total variable cost. Now let's combine 2 and 3. Let's define TC now, putting the value of TVC as shown in equation 3. TC is equal to TFC plus we will put TVC value here as AVC into Q. Now break-even point we have already defined is where TR is equal to TC. So putting these equations together, we will get P into Q, which shows the TR is equal to TFC plus AVC into Q. Now, solving these equations, we will come to Q is equal to TFC upon P minus AVC. That means quantity of break-even, the quantity which actually puts you on break-even point is given by, if we divide TFC by P minus, by the difference of P and AVC. So TFC divided by P minus AVC. This will give you the break-even quantity. This was second method. Now third method through which break-even analysis can be put further. is contribution margin method for break-even analysis. What is contribution margin? Now, for reaching contribution margin, we need to take the difference between TR and TVC. The excess of TR over TVC. In short period, the contribution margin is related on the one hand to the TR, that is total revenue, and on other hand, instead of taking full cost TC, we are taking only and only TVC, that is total variable cost. The difference between TR and TVC will give you total contribution margin. And if at the point of break even where TR is equal to TC, at that point your TCM, that is total contribution margin, will be equal to TFC, that is total fixed cost. I repeat, at the point of break even, because break even is a point where TR is equal to TC, since TC is also there, TR is equal to TC. So and what is total contribution margin? Total contribution margin is TR minus TVC. So here TR is equal to TC. So TC will give you, the difference between TC and TVC will give you TFC. So that means total contribution margin at the point of break even can be defined as TFC as well. You have to be very conscious at the point of break even. While the difference between AR and AVC, here we are taking average revenue and average variable cost. The difference between the two is contribution margin. While the total contribution margin is given by TR and TVC difference, the contribution margin is given by AR and AVC difference. This was contribution method, and let's take the help of a graph as well. On x-axis we take quantity, on y-axis revenue and cost. Point E is break-even point. Below that point we have less profit or more loss. It is losses as mainly, and profits, and beyond E we have profit, but low profit as you reduce output, low profits. So basically, what is contribution margin here? Contribution margin here will be TR minus TVC as we have defined. Here at output Q1, we are having TR as equal to AQ1 and TVC is BQ1. The difference between the two is AB, which shows the total contribution margin. So this total contribution margin will give you the extent of the profits that you can make. But at TR is equal to TC, at this point where the TR is equal to TC, the contribution margin is taken, the gap between the two, that is TR and TVC. EQ and TVC is somewhere where it cuts your TVC. So the gap between the two is taken as contribution margin. Next, this was break-even analysis expressed through three methods, calculated through three methods. Now, why break-even analysis is needed? Actually, I have already sensitized you that break-even analysis is of utmost help to the firm to decide on many decisions like output, like cost, like price. So we have to now shift to the advantages of break-even analysis. First is optimum level of output. Firms come to know through break-even analysis as to what is the what is the output level where it will incur losses, and the point where the profits will start. If you are below break-even point, firms will incur losses. Above break-even point, firms will incur profits. Then Second advantage is minimum cost. Cost has to be minimum because if output increases and cost decreases, that will give rise to the profits. Every decrease in the cost will give rise to the profit beyond break-even point. Next is choice of the right product. Firms can choose the right product, actually what product they should produce rather than going for any random product. For this also break-even analysis helps them. Break-even, the onset of break-even actually gives them the right decision, helps them to take right decision. If break-even happens faster, that product is always a right product for the firms. Next is the expansion and contraction of the firm. When should the firms contract or expand their output? This too is defined by break-even analysis. The level of break-even, beyond that should be expansion levels, and below that should be contraction levels. Next is effect of change in the price and cost. The price and cost, any change in the price will have impact on TR, and similarly any change in the cost will have impact on TC. So this way they will have impact on your break-even point. So we have to do accordingly. See, if we want break-even point to happen faster, we should reduce the cost, and if we reduce the cost, then similarly we change the prices accordingly so that the break-even point happens faster. Next is limitation of the break-even analysis. There are many limitations of break-even analysis. Many economists don't agree with the relevance of break-even analysis for all times. What are the limitations they have put forward to? One, it is static because it assumes the fixed cost as well as technique of production to be constant, which is not the reality. So that is one. Actual life is dynamic, and that is not taken into consideration. Second is profit is not dependent on single factor. There are many more factors on which the profit depends beyond prices, beyond costs, and that is not taken into consideration, like environment in which the firms work, that also have a bearing on the government policies, and many more things. Next is not relevant for imperfect competition. This is the prices of output, the price of input are taken to be constant. That happens only in the perfect competition, but in real life, there is no perfect competition actually. It is imperfect competition, which is the harsh reality, but break-even analysis finds no relevance in imperfect competition. Then costs are taken to be constant. In actual life, costs don't remain constant. The very fact, the variable cost means they keep on changing. The very assumption of keeping ABC constant is not the right assumption. Then short-term analysis, it is not explained for long run, and this is one of its biggest shortfall, and that is why this has been criticized. But despite many limitations, it helps in making strategies and taking business decisions for the firms today and for future. Thank you.